Good morning and happy Sunday again, everybody. Today, a little bit of a special video. Um, Today, I'm actually celebrating 4 years of being in remission from stage 4 cancer, melanoma specifically. For those who didn't know, for those who do follow me on the socials and you watch our show, The Humanity, something I talk about a lot, so you're probably aware if you've been following me, you know me at all. But yeah, so just liked how today kind of coincided with me doing one of these videos. So I figured, of course, I got to talk about that. And today's going to be a little more off the cuff, I guess a little more than normal. I usually try to have like at least a little, not a full script, but just basic bullet point outline for what I'm talking through. But today, just a little more stream of consciousness. Yeah, that's what it's called, I guess. I mean, I have a few things in mind that I want to cover, but as far as the specifics, yeah, I just gotta kind of let it go, see what happens. But yeah, it also I think it's kind of cool to me. I was stage 4. And this is my 4-year anniversary of being in remission. So yeah, all you people who like things with numbers, there you go. So yeah, a few things I kind of want to talk about. Just one, like, just a little bit about what that experience was like. Stage 4 melanoma, for people who know. Like, I mean, stage 4 any kind of cancer is pretty serious, and for me, it was very stage 4. Like, it started here in the back of my head, but then like spread just within a few months from diagnosis. It was all throughout my abdomen. Even had one tumor all the way down in my leg. I think I had two tumors in one lung, one in the other, can't remember which. They were like all around various tissues and organs inside my abdomen. But then the real kicker was I found out there was actually a tumor inside my heart that was, I can't remember the exact size. I want to say it was like at least 1.5 centimeters across, plus had an equally big blood clot attached to it. So that was fun. So basically, yeah, just from the time I think when they found it was stage 4, that was like mid June of 2021. They found the tumor in my heart in July, but then by September 7th, you know, the day it is today, it was all just completely gone. So yeah, if anyone's interested in more of that backstory, for those who do follow the Humanity, our podcast, now this might sound weird if you're already watching this on our channel, but I have this out on my personal pages and stuff as well. So for those watching on just my personal pages, if you're not familiar with the show I do with my buddy Matt called The Humanity, I did an episode a little over a year ago, just called Doubting Tommy. You can find it on YouTube, where I go much further in depth into pretty much everything I'm talking about here today. Just what that experience was like, all the specifics, and then specifically how it pertained to me losing my lifelong Christian faith, becoming atheist, forming my worldview, how I look at life, all that. So if you're interested in that, check out the Doubting Tommy episode from a little more than a year ago on YouTube. I say it would be on Facebook, but Facebook keeps deleting our live stuff after so long. So yeah, best to check out YouTube for back episodes and whatnot. So first of all, just the big, I guess, world upending mindfuck, if you will, of just having stage 4 cancer. And then, like I said, especially once they found that in my heart, there were at least a good couple months over that summer where I was pretty convinced, like, none of my doctors had said terminal or incurable or just make you comfortable, and nothing like that yet. You could tell they were very concerned, where, like, if something didn't work soon, because they were trying a few different things, they were like, hey, if none of this works, then yeah, this could be looking like really bad. But yeah, but still, I just to myself just thought, like, yeah, this is probably gonna be it. Like, I'm probably not gonna survive this. So just dealing with that, and then all of a sudden they do another round of scans after switching treatment up and trying some more aggressive things, and it's just completely gone. Not like starting to shrink, starting to go away, like just completely gone. Now, at this point, I think I still considered myself a Christian. I had been pretty heavily deconstructing. I think by that point, if if you want to call it anything, I was a universalist, probably a panentheist. Um, so the whole idea of the afterlife, I had no concerns. I was like, whatever it is, it's going to be great, but still not really sure what I really believed. And having a lot of conversations with other people in this whole like deconstruction, progressive Christianity community after going through all this, and just, like I said, that huge shift and like world upending and mind fuck just seems to be the best phrase for it. Of, okay, I thought I was dying, now I'm just not. Like, I'm kind of just fine now. And how that just really flipped everything for me and just really made me examine, like, okay, what do I actually believe? And maybe more importantly, why? So I just felt like after all that tumult, however you pronounce that, chaos, and just feeling so uneasy, to put it mildly. Sorry, I'm just having trouble finding words for things right now. Maybe I should have planned this a little more. But nah, it's good. We'll survive, right? Because we did. But yeah, after going through all that and just having so much uncertainty and feeling ungrounded, I guess, just having talks with different people who had some kind of Christian faith and saying, okay, what do you think about God? What do you think about life, the afterlife, all this stuff? And hearing all these ideas that sounded really great, but then when I start to drill down with people, okay, but why do you believe that? Like, why do you believe in universalism when there do seem, because you're basing your universalism on certain passages of the Bible, but there are other passages of the Bible that seem to say otherwise. But so things like that, and I keep drilling down, like, okay, but why do you believe that? Why are you choosing to believe this part of the faith, but not those? Like, what? And because to me, it just sounded like, the old thing that more conservative fundamentalist Christians would say, but like as a pejorative, saying like, oh, it sounds like you're just making a God in your own image, you're just cherry picking, making your faith, just whatever you want it to be, whatever sounds nice. And I was like, okay, that seems to be what these people are doing. But again, in this situation where I was just coming out of that experience of surviving cancer, it's like, okay, as much as I hated the cliche of it, just having that whole, oh, now it's like I have a whole new perspective on life and everything looks different now, and now I really want to take certain things seriously, put more thought and effort into like what I think and believe and how I'm going to live this life that I got now. So I really wanted to drill down, okay, if any of this is real, I want to know, but also like I want to know why, like how can we know that these things are true if I'm actually going to be building my life on this now? And the more I drilled down on this with people, like the more the answers I got were essentially just boiled down to, well, this is just what I believe. I mean, they might even say this is what I choose to believe, but that's a whole other issue, whether or not you can actually choose what you believe. Because I felt like with me losing my faith, it really wasn't a choice. It was just a matter of me like digging and trying to find something and just not really being convinced about it anymore. It's like I didn't really have a choice. I was like, it's like you're either convinced or you're not. You can't really help what convinces you or not. And I was like, okay, I am just no longer convinced. So essentially, on a day about a month and a half later, after going into remission and going through all this, late October, finally just gave God his last chance. Just said, okay, if you're real, if there's anything you want me to know about you, then you're going to have to let me know, because I'm not finding any solid answers anywhere else, like in any people, in any book, any sermon, nothing. So if you want me to know anything, you're going to have to tell me. And going on almost 4 years later, I still got nothing. So it's almost like I just couldn't help but lose my faith, because I was given nothing as far as any kind of firm and solid reason to hold on to it, because it realized there was actually nothing solid there to hold on to. And also, I've talked about this before, I think a lot of this, I didn't know it at the time, was also very related to me being autistic and looking for certainty and like reasons why, and not being satisfied with, well, this is just what we choose to believe, and like really wanting to dig down and know for certain on a lot of things, and thinking, well, if there's no real good reason to believe it, then why believe it? So So that's kind of how that happened. Um, but like like I say, it's one thing. It just kind of happened, so it was easy in that sense. As in, it's like it's nothing I was. It's not something I was trying to do, or like I certainly wasn't trying to lose my faith, because in so many other ways it has been anything but easy. Um, yeah, without going into too many details, just again for those who know me, it's like I I've lost a lot since losing my faith. I didn't just lose the faith; I lost a lot of things that went along with it, both relationally, just internally. You know, I mean, that's one of the things that made it hardest was after going through that experience of surviving cancer and having my entire world turned upside down, and then just losing my like any grounding I had as far as like understanding reality, understanding myself, the world, other people, everything, and just kind of in so many ways starting over from scratch, just trying to figure out, okay, what do I actually believe? What is reality actually? What do I do? Kind of. So coming out of that, that's yeah, just wanted to share some perspectives I have gained, I guess. So first of all, just as far as looking at death, because I mean, going through an experience like that, you kind of can't help but think about death. I mean, it's something I still think about a lot, maybe certainly more than I ever did before. And speaking of losing things about how I viewed reality, like as it is right now, like I do not believe in any kind of afterlife. I don't believe in a soul. Mostly, this is all just things where it's like, it's not like I'm not wanting to believe. Like, I mean, I'd love for there to be some blissful afterlife, whether you want to call it heaven, paradise, nirvana, just becoming one with the universe again, or realizing the oneness I already had, whatever. Yeah, all that sounds great. Like, I have nothing against those things, like, in principle. But I just see no reason to believe that it's actually there. Now, as I say, I'm perfectly willing to be pleasantly surprised, someday whenever it does happen, and you know, I pass on to whatever. But yeah, I'm basically at this point, I'm just not banking on it, and I'm just viewing this life as the one life I have. So again, going back to how I'm going to live this life going forward, I'm like, okay, if I only have this one life, I'm not going to just live it assuming that I have something else to look forward to afterwards. I'm just, until convinced otherwise, I'm just going to live it based on what I got in front of me now and thinking, okay, this might be it. So I don't want to waste it dedicating my life to things that I can't even know are even real or true. So, yeah, so that was yeah, the first thing about viewing this life in terms of death, and but also just things like, and this is something I don't think I really have even talked about very much, even like on my personal pages or even just with friends or family or whatever. But one thing I was thinking about a lot was the concept of, your last something, before you die, what's going to be like the last time you spend time with these certain people, the last time you do a certain activity, we always have these big things like, your last meal, your last words, your final thoughts to impart to, my kids or other people in my life. And I don't know, I kind of feel like, I mean, obviously, like we put a lot of emphasis on those things for a reason because, last impressions, last memories are like a big deal. But I almost just want to say, like, look, I don't want to put that kind of pressure on, like I said, especially I was thinking this is the time when death seemed very imminent, so I was very like conscious of, okay, is this going to be the last time I do this? Is this going to be the last time I see this person? Is this going to be the last time I have this kind of conversation with my kids or whatever? And I guess hoping that all the things leading up to the last thing will kind of hold up on their own, so there's not that pressure on the last interaction. Does that make sense? Like, I don't want people have to worry about what's the last thing I said to my kids, what's the last thing I said to my other friends and family, and just like, because hopefully like everything I said and did with them up to my last time with them, like that's enough like to carry my memory with them. Like, so if my last time with them is just kind of mundane and boring, then that's okay, because they would know enough from me from my previous interactions. Like I said, I haven't talked about this out loud much, so I hope that made any kind of sense. So yeah, that's how I was looking at death and life in light of death, just being like, look, if this is all I got, I gotta, make it count. And one of the things that became really important, as far as how I live my life, is I have to be me. Like, I have to be my honest, genuine, authentic, all the buzzwords self. And also, that's a big reason why I ended up losing my faith and becoming atheist, because just being intellectually honest with myself, I was like, yeah, I do not believe any of this anymore. I do not believe in not just the Christian God or just any God. Like, so yeah, it actually took me a while to be comfortable referring to myself as an atheist, but it just came down to, it's like, yeah, that's what I think. That's what you call how I view things. So yeah, I'm an atheist. Have been for almost 4 years now. So for all those people praying that this is just a phase, that's the thing. When in any case, like when people say this is just a phase, like how long does a phase last for it to count as just a phase? Like, is 4 years, is that a phase, or is that just kind of who I am? I don't know. Maybe it depends on the thing. Tangent. But yeah, just being my honest, authentic self. I almost said honest, like some kind of combination. I do that sometimes. Sorry, another tangent. But yeah, just being my real, authentic self, like among other things, meant losing my faith, but also just meant things like, how do I define being successful? Or yeah, whether it's career-wise, relation-wise, just any sort of how I spend my time, what my life looks like. Because before then, like, I felt like I had still been trying to align with a more like stereotypical, at least here in America, version of success, meaning like having a successful career, which just wasn't happening for me, and that was causing a lot of frustration. Or financially successful, like I guess a lot of the things we consider success have to do with like your job and your money. But I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, like if people know me, like my current job, like it does not pay like super awesome, but as far as, and it's has absolutely nothing to do with what I studied in college or what my career was supposed to be or whatever, but I don't know, it just fits. Like, I do not dread going to work. Yet going to work, that's the other thing, is I work from home. So I do not dread walking to my office next to my bedroom in the morning and just sitting down at my own desk in my own office. And the work itself is just that perfect combination of just engaging enough, but also just mindless enough that I can do other things while working, like listen to music, podcasts, watch YouTube, have that playing in the background, whatever. Yeah, it just allows me flexibility, which again, being one of the things that's most important to me. It's like anymore, it's like, yeah, absolute top priority anymore is my kids. So just it allows me to be there for them. So yeah, man. But also, as far as looking at life and just being considered successful, I consider successful being, yeah, basically, like I've said before, above all, just honest with myself. And as far as like my relationships and the people in my life, I learned to value above all things, not, I mean, as great as it is to have friends and other people in your life that you have a lot in common with, as far as like your interests and hobbies or whatever, just kind of realizing, for people who know me, a lot of my hobbies and interests are pretty niche, and I don't really come across a lot of people who are in the same things. Like, for instance, like I bet almost none of you even know what this shirt is, but let me know if you do. I found out what's really important, like, as nice as all that is, really what matters is being around people who, no matter what your interests or ways you think are, the people who just let you be yourself, that you don't feel like you have to pretend around or put on a mask or a different face or pretend to be in the different things that you aren't, and or whatever. Yeah, people who just let you be you. And I've definitely found some of those people. So that, yeah, so that's been super important to me as far as what life looks like. But as far as like developing life philosophies, like, yeah, it like I said before, it felt kind of, very disorienting and what's the word I'm looking for? Dysregulating, but just like had like the rug pulled out from under me, like lacking the foundation of how to view reality that I had from my Christian faith, to just losing that completely and just think, okay, what do I think now? Like about literally everything. And I still say I haven't really landed on any specific philosophies, partially because the more I look into things, the more I realize I don't really understand a lot of the more like complicated philosophical stuff. From what I understand, you could probably put me somewhere around like absurdism, maybe existentialism, some form of nihilism, perhaps. Yeah, basically just whatever it means. Like, I don't think there is any grand supernatural or any kind of design or purpose to us or any of this in reality. I think reality is just kind of the way things go. And any value or purpose or whatever we find in things, it's completely subjective. So therefore, so as daunting and maybe unnerving as it is to think that there really is no purpose for your life and what you do outside of just what you personally value or what the people around you value, as kind of daunting and unnerving as that can be, it's in a way, it's kind of, I don't know, freeing and encouraging in a way. Just another phrase I've heard that I like is optimistic nihilism, basically just, saying there is no ultimate purpose. So what that means is you're free to make your own. So that's kind of what I've been doing, at least trying to do, like ever since, like in these past 4 years. And so far, I mean, as far as things that I've lost from no longer being a Christian or having any kind of faith or supernatural belief or spirituality or anything, I think one of the benefits that I've had since then is I probably love myself more than I ever have, which has been really, really cool. So, yeah. Yeah. Well, I didn't really have a good way to wrap this up, but that sounds like a good note to end on, also because I'm going for over 23 minutes now. So thanks for anyone who's actually still watching this. Yeah, like I said, if people want to know more about my story and my thoughts, one, just watch the show, The Humanity, that I do with my buddy Matt, specifically my episode Doubting Tommy that I did as a solo episode because like Matt was out on vacation or something last summer. Yeah, look that up. I may link it in the comments or something. But yeah, so yeah, let me know if any of this like resonated with you, meant anything. If you have any further questions that you want to talk to me about, like this is the kind of stuff I'm always up for talking about in an honest discussion, not the you just want to talk to me to try to bring me back Christianity. It's like, yeah, I don't know what anyone could tell me that could possibly change my mind that like I haven't already heard, I don't already know, or yeah, but hey, if you want to give it a shot, hey, have at it, I guess, respectfully. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me today. Yeah, see you around.